Abby's in. Here we go, folks. Welcome to the HCC, everyone. Here comes our script for remotely conducted open meetings. As a preliminary matter, this is Ray Cole. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. So members, when I call your names, if you can put on the affirmative. Val Oliver.
Here.
Thank you. Diane Coombs.
Here.
Very good. Thank you. John McLaughlin.
Who?
Or John, are you here?
I'm here.
All right. Thank you. Abby Camp.
Hi, here.
Very good. Carrie Thornwell.
Aye.
All right. Staff, when I call your names, if you could please respond in the affirmative. Holly Backus.
Present.
Thank you. Kadeem McCarthy.
Present.
Very good.
Ray, FYI, Stephen's on board.
Oh,
Hello.
okay. And Stephen Welsh. We'll catch Stephen.
There seems to be some sort of odd,
Yeah. Background.
yeah.
If somebody could identify where that's coming from and mute. Stephen, just want to confirm that you're here, right?
Yes.
All right, great, thanks. Okay, and speakers at today's meeting will just, they will announce themselves as they enter the conversation. Good afternoon, this open meeting. Yeah, we really have to, whoever is, has the background noise, let's find out who that is, okay? And mute them, thank you. Somebody has like a TV or something going in the background. Okay, this open meeting of the Nantucket Historic, it's still there.
Yep.
This open meeting of the Nantucket somebody has to take care of that, please. Okay, this open meeting of the Nantucket.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm looking at the feed and it only seems to be happening when you're on.
Oh,
So I don't know if there's something going on there. The only way we could determine is if both Val and I mute, because you'll be the only one, and Jane Caspi who, if we all mute, you'll be the only one on. Okay, so it's just me and I'll mute. And then if you talk and it's still going on, there's some reverb going on in the background there.
Let's see. Well, I'm not hearing it now, Stephen. Stephen,
Problem solved.
what's the problem, Val?
I don't know, but it's solved.
Well, but it disappeared when Val muted.
I don't have
Val,
anything on.
Val, Jane, and myself. So we'll see when one of us talks if it comes back.
All right. Sorry for the interruption. This open meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission is being conducted remotely. It's gone. Thank God. Is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Nantucket Historic District Commission is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other people may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Excuse me. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. So we're now turning to the first item on the agenda, but before we do so, let me cover a few ground rules for the effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. And please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Items for public comment. Let me see here. I don't have that sheet, but, oh, here we are. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote taken at this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Very good. That's that. Now, I would love to have a motion
I
to.
make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you very much, Diane. On Diane's motion to approve today's agenda, Val.
Aye.
Very good. John. We'll go to Abby.
Aye.
Very good. Diane, on your motion.
Aye.
All right, Johnny, you with us? Well, I'm going to vote in favor, so that motion carries. All right. Let's see. We have a consent agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would like to request one of the items on consent to be brought out, number 5, 10 Quint Street,
All
for
right.
you all to review individually.
Okay, so the way this is going to happen, because unless Nantucket Architecture Group happens to be here, we're going to hold that because we shouldn't deliberate on it unless they have representation. So it sounds to me like what we want to do is have a consent agenda that is items 1 through 4 and 6 through 9.
So move.
And well, thank you for that, Diane. And Val is going to need to recuse, as is Carrie. So that leaves you, Stephen, if you could sit on this. You there?
Motion to approve consent.
Actually, there's already been a motion made. I just wanted to make sure that you were on it. So,
Okay.
um,
So that's an aye.
okay, thank you. Let's see, John on the motion. We better check into John. Abby on the motion.
Aye.
Val, you're off of it. Diane on your motion.
Aye.
And Stephen, you've already voted in favor, so I'll vote in favor. That carries. Is John,
Got it.
oh, there you are. You there, John?
Yes,
Okay. Were you in favor of the consent agenda?
yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. Now we're on to new business. First up, 24 Mill Street. Who's here to rep that?
Rick Griffith is here.
Rick Griffith. Okay. All right, you want to go ahead?
Sure thing. Thanks so much for the time. So there's a small shed on the back of our property that's not visible from either Mill Street or Prospect Street that has fallen into quite disrepair. So bad so that I think my kids riding their bike this summer may have put a hole in the side of it, just kind of crashing into the shed. I was at a friend's property who had a very standard kind of square shed that he put on the back of his property that was approved by the HDC historically. And so I guess there's kind of two here. One is to demo this shed, which has fallen into great disrepair.
Mhm.
And second is to build a new shed.
Okay, so let's see. We just saw a site plan. Do we have a locus plan? And Holly, I know that you've probably got some stuff to say on this.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
So HSAB did take a look at this as well as myself. They looked at this on August 9th, and their concerns are: what is the date of the existing shed? Would prefer to rebuild the older one rather than build a new one. I just want to notate for the record that the main dwelling on the lot, per Mr. Lancaster, 1834. And the NHL data indicates 1900s cottage. So I couldn't find any information on specifically, but it would be nice to have some photographs of the interior of this cottage or this shed, as well as to be able to obviously determine more information on that. Those are the comments, Mr. Chair.
So can we see the whole package? Obviously, the package does not include interior stuff, right? Okay.
That's correct. That's correct. There are no interior photos. I don't know if this helps the committee date it at all, but I will say that the interior of the shed is almost exclusively made of plywood. So I don't know when that became available or when that was common to be used as for building a shed, but it is almost all the interior made of plywood.
Well, that's actually good to hear, but we should probably see that before we move forward with this. So can you take some photos of the interior so we can go about this in an informed way?
Be happy to.
Also, to that point, it looks to me like the door is sitting right at grade. So if you could take a picture of the floor, like what's the floor? Wood?
Also plywood.
The floor is plywood.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Plywood sitting on framing?
That's my understanding. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the framing is subgrade, so I can see why there's some rot issues. That's bad building techniques. But would everyone agree that we should do our due diligence on this one and just get some photos of the interior?
Hold for more information.
That sounds pretty good to me. Thanks, Diane. So I think this is the regular board sitting on this. So Val on the motion.
Aye.
Very good. John on the motion.
Mr. Chairman, my uncle built that shed years ago. Yes.
You're kidding, John. Really?
Adi Cahoon. Yes, he's right at the bottom of the hill.
No kidding. Now, what year would that have been, John, approximately?
I'm in favor of all three of those.
Well, okay. But when do you think that he may have built it? Because that's the big question.
Say that again, please.
No, when was your uncle doing work like that? Like what time period?
Oh, maybe in the 40s.
40s, okay. Well, they were using plywood apparently. John, we're gonna hold this for this gentleman to bring us some pictures of the interior so we can see the plywood. Are you okay with that?
Whatever you think is best, do it.
All right, we just wanna make sure we're not tearing down a 200-year-old building. Okay, so that's a yes. So Abby on the motion.
Yeah, I just want to add that I think it's charming, and if we do come to demo, I really want it. I mean, I would rather see a restoration. This thing is charming. Thank you.
Well, we can open up his new application too, which is the next thing on the agenda. So you're in favor of the more information. Thank you. And Diane on your motion.
Aye.
All right, and I'm in favor, motion carries. Why don't we take a look at the new shed, just see what you got there.
So this is these plans were, you can see the whiteout of the previously approved. So these plans were approved by the HDC. I think it was about 5 years ago. This is truly just a standard shed that is on a friend's property.
Oh, okay. So we didn't approve it for this location.
No.
No. Okay. Looks quite tiny.
The only thing that it's about the same size as the current shed.
Really?
The only thing that's changed is the height. I am 6'2", so when I go into this current shed, I almost inevitably hit my head on something. So the peak of the height of this shed, I believe, is 12 feet.
So do us a favor, would you? Could you just take these little drawings of yours and put some dimensions on them? You know, on the elevations, how high it is, how wide it is, et cetera, so we have a better idea.
So yeah, happy to. Or is that not? I thought it was on one of those Maybe it's not on.
It's not on this one.
And Mr. Chair, I do have HSAB comments as well as staff comments.
Great. Go ahead.
So HSAB said better drawings are needed to show the overall height and accurate window placement. A better site plan is needed to indicate the exact location. And I concur, we need obviously clearer drawings, a more specific site plan. This is obviously the existing location of the existing shed.
Right.
Also, I note that again, the main dwelling on the lot is a historic contributing structure.
Right.
And the architectural style really should, emulate a little bit of that. And that are the comments. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Anybody, assuming that we get demo on the existing shed, I'd like to hear your comments on the new version, folks. Same board.
Okay,
Mhm.
I think it's pretty basic. The only thing that's a little bit of an anomaly is the dormer.
Mhm.
And depending which way it is facing, that may not be an issue.
I think it's facing the back property line.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that we would know that better if we had a site plan that showed the exact location of this. Okay, that's it, Val, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Abby, how about you?
Yeah, I'm not in favor of this. I'm waiting for information about the older shed. I believe it's probably turn of the century. I'm not sure about John's 1940 thing. Plywood could have just been put down to keep it intact. Looks like they shingled it at some point. And I'm really tired of taking down these old buildings and then seeing these generic things come up. It's really sort of starting to get on my nerves. So I would probably not be in favor of something like this.
Okay, thank you. John.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is my uncle had chickens also. I think it's appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Diane?
no, I'm a nay. For the same reasons that Abby is.
Okay. So, all right. Well, let's see the information on the old building and I guess we'll see what happens with this new building. So you have a few things you need to do to this just to clear up the application for us. And we will see what information you're able to provide us next time on the current shed.
Thank you.
So can I have a motion?
Motion to hold for more information.
Sounds good. Thanks, Diane. On the motion, Val,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
very good. Abby.
I
Okay, and Diane on your motion,
Aye,
and I'm in favor too. So that motion carries. Thank you. Let's see, driveway at 21 Pleasant, Edgewater. I saw Paul on there.
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Very good.
Good.
Okay,
Pretty basic. Recently purchased subdivided lot. Just trying to put a new parking space in off Candle House Lane. One space, 14 foot on the street, 10 by 20, 10-foot deep brick apron. Use the neighboring property at 6 Candle House Lane to determine should use brick as the apron. That's pretty much about it.
Paul, I'm hugely curious about this, and I don't ordinarily jump in. And we do have Holly's going to speak to the HSAB stuff.
Okay.
Why is it like 50-50? Why is it half brick and half gravel?
I was just doing for code the 10-foot in depth. I would have no problem breaking the whole driveway. I think that would be appropriate.
Okay, it just looks kind of
Yeah.
weird.
I understand, but I think a full brick driveway would actually be more appropriate.
Okay, so how about HSAB on this, Holly?
Yes, Mr. Chair, HSAB took a look at this on August 9th. They said that a cobblestone apron instead of a brick would be more appropriate in this neighborhood. The existing driveway further down Candlehouse Lane is cobblestone. This main dwelling obviously is a contributing 1920s Foursquare. My question would be, what are the other driveways on Candlehouse made with? And this is for a new driveway off of Candlehouse, not Pleasant, where off of Pleasant Street, it would be more appropriate. Those are the comments, Mr. Chair.
Oh, interesting. They're saying off of Pleasant Street, it would be more appropriate.
That's my interpretation of Pleasant Street and the existing driveways that we've seen. Yes, sir.
I wouldn't want to be backing out onto Pleasant Street. Okay, regular board. Who wants to start?
I will.
Thank you, Val.
I didn't drive down the street to see this. It looks though from the photo, which I was trying to blow up a little bit. The next door neighbor's parking, it looks like, can you show the photo again, is brick. They just pull in like sideways, right?
Right.
Is
and
that the photo that we're looking at right now?
Yeah, that's right next door, I think.
It looks like it's made out of concrete.
The majority of the front is brick. There is that small parking area that does appear to be concrete, yes. Which I don't think we want to use concrete now.
No,
I'd rather not.
No, of course not.
but this would butt up to it, right?
No, this is 2 doors down. So there is a lot between the two.
Oh, I guess then I would just wait and see. I'd probably go by there and see what the other ones are.
Okay.
I think brick or cobblestone would be fine. I think the whole driveway should be one material. So either all brick or all cobblestone.
I'm with you on that one, definitely.
Well, then that's.
I would go with the cobblestone then, if that was an option.
Sure.
Now, when we say cobble, we're really talking about cobble, right? Not Belgian block?
Not Belgian
That's
block, no.
Yeah, not Belgian block.
Okay, just to be clear, because sometimes it gets muddy.
Yeah.
All right, Val, thank you. How about you, Diane? Diane? Let's see. Diane there? Where's Diane? Diane, you're muted. Okay, let's go to Abby.
Yeah, I was curious about HSAB's comments about other driveways on Candlehouse Lane being cobblestone. So I didn't know that. And if that's the case, I would go with cobblestone as well and leave the brick for Pleasant Street.
Okay, thank you. John?
I'm in,
What?
yes, I'm in favor of that.
Oh, of it being cobblestone?
Cobblestone, that's fine.
Okay,
They're all-
well, so it hasn't quite come to a vote yet, but it looks like the vote might be for all cobblestone. But I'm still trying to hear from Diane. Diane, you're still muted, dear. Can somebody unmute her, please?
There, can you hear me now?
Okay, now I got you. Yep.
I don't know why it keeps doing that. Anyway, I would like to know what else is on the Candlehouse Lane for aprons. I think the brick is too formal for Candlehouse Lane. And if I'm given the choice just off the top, I would take the cobblestones for that reason.
Well, Diane, I think everybody's in agreement on this one, that cobblestone would be a good choice. And rather than it being 50-50, it would be 100% cobblestone.
Right, 100% cobblestone.
Yeah.
And I'll
So
make that motion if you want.
that would be great. Okay, perfect. Thank you. And so Diane has made a motion to approve this as all cobblestone, folks. On that motion, Val?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. John?
Aye.
Great. Abby?
Aye.
Thank you. Diane on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Fantastic. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Good
All
night.
right, next up, we're on to old business of August 10th, very short. Do we have somebody here to represent the 3 Wynn Street applications?
Yeah, can you hear me? This is Ethan.
Hello, Ethan.
Yeah, hi. I didn't know I was on this because it said self and then my name's not on there, so
So self.
that's why I'm here now.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm here for the house, not, there you go, that one. So basically, it's a second dwelling and the style is to match the main house.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
because-
familiar with this because this was the pool thing that came up last
Yeah.
Tuesday, right?
So we're gonna actually hold the pool until this gets approved, and then we're gonna
Well,
read
you
it.
better because
It looks like it's right on.
it looks like the guest house is sitting right in the pool.
It's a new thing.
All
Right,
right.
it's because we have all the setbacks on Hedgebury and the setbacks on Wynn Street. We have to be 30 feet, so we have to put it in where, that's where it can go.
Okay. All right, good enough. So,
So I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna just hold my application for revisions, if that's okay.
yeah, we'll hold it for you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so go ahead, Ethan.
So basically, it's a second dwelling, 22 feet high, plus or minus, and the style matches the main house of all the architectural elements.
Okay,
That's really it.
that's it?
Well, that's in the location of it on the lot, that's where it can only kind of go because of all the setbacks and the grades and everything. So
Okay.
that's it, new house.
Is
And
there a picture of the main house, Ethan?
There is, if you scroll up,
Oh,
I included it
God
right
bless.
there.
There we go.
The only thing I didn't do is put the brackets on it. He doesn't like those. He wants to take those off. Eventually, he's going to do something to the house.
Well, we tend not to like those square brackets. We like them when they're curved. I'm just kidding. So who wants to start?
I just want to look at it again.
I think it would be good to give it another look over.
Right.
White trim,
It's 22 feet high.
correct. 22
Okay.
feet. On the money.
On the money. That's
Yep,
not
on the money.
often.
Mhm.
I'll go if you want.
Yeah, that would be great, Diane. Thank you.
I think that the north elevation, which is what, facing out to Nantucket Road?
Yes,
Okay, but this is back, so it won't be seen, right?
yeah, there's a photograph from the road. It's all vegetation. You can't see this.
Okay,
Well, from Nantucket Road, you can't see it. You have to go right up to Hedgebury.
right. Well, Hedgesbury is a public road, so we have to think of that. Can I go over to the west elevation? Okay, I think on the west elevation, the 2 dormers up above, I'd like to see them brought in a little bit so that they weren't quite so wide, so much
Mm.
side there. And it will make the roof a little smaller to the eye. It's just a suggestion. So now if I could see the east, there's the east, same thing with that. The dormers, I think with the house and keeping it only at 22 inches, the small reduction on the dormers would be good. And the south is the south sort of the front entrance?
Yeah,
Which would be-
well, looking, you can't, yeah, there's 2 entrances, so it's whatever they decide to use when living there.
Okay, there's one and there's a one around the corner. So that's my suggestion at the moment is, I appreciate the height that you got it. I appreciate that it is at 22 feet. I just would like to see the dormers reduced, which I think keep the house looking small.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Diane. Let's see. Abby, how about you?
Yeah, I think it's pretty adorable. I think my only question, I'd love to see them side by side, the main house and this, to make sure that the same details were the same, like well, maybe just the window. Are the windows the same size?
Yep, everything's matching except for the brackets.
Very cool. And I kind of, I see those big dormers, but that does look oversized. I think I agree with Diane to bring that in, those dormers in a little bit. Otherwise it's beautifully proportioned. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Abby. John, how about you?
Okay, I think the windows are harmonious to itself as well as the neighborhood.
Mhm.
The door with the panel, the four windows and the vertical identification is fine for that area.
Okay,
I think it's fine the way it is.
okay, very good. Thank you, John. And how about you, Val?
I think it's appropriate.
Okay, so Ethan,
Yeah,
can you give us a little sugar on this and make those dormers a little narrower?
I can make them narrower, but they're like, because of code with the bathrooms, I mean, that's why the house is so short. But
Right.
we're talking narrow in width, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I can do that with the, what do you call it? The west, I can bring it in a couple inches on either side, but the other one's a kind of a toilet, and I need that 6'8", and it won't work. Otherwise, toilet will be in the window, and I don't want that. That's on the east. But I mean, I can.
So you're
work-
suggesting keeping the east elevation the way it is and doing the ones
Yeah,
on,
just because of the bathrooms. I mean,
you do understand what we're talking about. It's just bringing those corner boards in a little bit closer to the windows.
yeah, I can. Yeah, that's the only thing was that east one is a bathroom toilet. The other ones can become in 6 inches on either side, which would help.
Okay.
That would be great.
All right. So
Right,
the
I'll make that
two
motion. Let's move it along.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion is to approve this through staff, just taking the dormers on the west elevation and making them 6 inches narrower on either side. Did I get
Perfect.
that right?
Yes.
Okay, on Diane's motion, Abby.
Aye.
Thank you, Val.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
Very good, Diane, on your motion.
Aye.
All right, good to go.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, there we go. So that was that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just to avoid issues in the future, Val's not actually on this one. I am.
Oh, but it's under new business.
No, we
Sorry.
didn't review this. So what you're talking about is the next one, which is the pool and the hardscape, which we're holding.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I'm looking at the agenda wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure there wasn't a problem on the vote.
By the way, Stephen, he wants to hold that application. Would you mind making a motion to hold?
Yeah,
Um,
that's so
Mr.
moved. I thought we opened them and then we tracked them, but regardless, motion made.
Yeah,
I don't think we
Yeah.
opened it.
I don't recall that it was actually opened, that he immediately said he wanted it to track with the house. So when it isn't open and substantive comments made, the boards is still open. But if I remember, that was not opened there technically.
The house was not open.
No, the pool was not open because
Well, the
Lindsay
pool
said
was
he
open
wanted to
long
track,
enough.
that the house was coming up and he wanted the two to track.
Well,
because
here's
this in
my-
the,
Okay.
so
My-
I don't even-
that's my take on it.
My
what it's worth.
recollection is that Stevens was the one who pointed out that he was looking at the house application, which we did not have, and said, well, I have an issue with this because the house seems to be in the location, the guest house seems to be in the same location where the pool is being shown. So that's when the board by then was established for Stephen to make those comments. And so then they held it for the house, which we just reviewed, which had not yet been reviewed. So we need to hold this application. So Stephen, can I have a motion to hold?
So moved.
Thank you. On that motion, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby.
Hi.
Even on your motion.
All right.
And I'm in favor. Okay, that's good. Next up, Val Oliver. Board,
Uh,
what?
yeah. I just want to make sure I got the right one to Holly.
Oh, you want to look at it first before we start?
Okay,
Well, oddly, we have a board on this.
yeah. Okay, I think it's the right one.
Who's the board? Who's on this? Can I step out for a second?
You were on
You're
it
on it, Abby. You're on the next two.
Okay.
and you liked it, so please stay.
Okay. All right. I just got an emergency telephone call. It's a nice emergency. So go ahead.
You like nice emergencies. Okay, so Val, why don't you begin? We know, board members, you know who you are.
Yeah, this was looked at in July. The crux of it is we want to change some fenestration on, I think it's the south and the east. Part of the proposal was well received, even though the fenestration is asking to change and become larger, because all the windows are going to bronze, which is like a dark terratone color. And the trim, which is now white and makes this building very evident, is going to be natural to weather. So there was some comments about the proportions of the glass. So I revamped, and at the end, Stephen was an alternate, but he said he would be interested in seeing something that was like a window wall. So I am presenting a couple of those as well, but there's 4 choices here.
Okay.
From the first presentation.
Okay.
And I think Diane liked it as well.
Yeah.
So this is the existing house.
All right.
This is a new presentation. The smaller size was the one I gave before. We had chunkier doors down on the bottom and smaller windows on the top. This is obviously, you know, a stretch, but the first 2 are window walls. At the end of this, I have a picture of one that's here. Of course, it's in Tristram's Landing, but I thought it was good to look at because with the natural to weather, it kind of just blends in. And then the next page is some more window proportion changes. So really you have 4 choices here, and then the east is the same on all of those. So
The east being this, just the.
yeah,
Bubbled, yeah, the bubbled ones are all the same.
yeah, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So that's the same for any
Of the other
iteration.
options.
And then Holly, if you can scroll farther to the end, I just wanted to point out that there are some odd windows here and there in town that I've never even noticed, which was interesting. So this one's down at Brant Point, and the next one is out in Tristram's Landing, obviously. But it was just to show coloring and all of that. So
Okay.
Which is why the HPC was formed.
I know.
All right. Okay, thank you, Val. It's Abby, John, Diane, Carrie. Who would like to begin?
I will.
Thank you, John.
Looking at option 1, basically, that's a custom window wall. I just think it's over fenestrated with glass. That's too much. It's way too much. You got to cut down something else.
Okay.
It'll be more fitting for the neighborhood.
Show him the
Further
next slide.
Yeah.
You have it. They should make some changes in those all that glass.
John, this is the next page, which is another option.
Another 2 options.
2 options.
Okay, what's the other option?
Well, there's two here. One has the second floor windows separated and one has them all ganged together. There you go, right where the little hand is.
I think it needs more double hung windows than glass on the right side of the second floor deck.
Okay,
There's too much glass in it. It's over 50%.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Diane, where are you on this?
Val, is this an upside down house?
No,
Well, I like the house and I think it's great, but I do think that the addition on the right has got too much glass. I would like to see going down to the third option there and perhaps have 3 windows up on the second floor. And I could live, which I don't usually do, I could live with the 2 mold up on the second floor. I
can
think
you
that's
look at the existing picture, compare it? Sorry, I wish I could. It's actually a reduction in the number of windows.
Yeah. Well, I think I think it just balances better. It isn't, for me at the moment, it's not the number of windows. I just think that the mold windows together, I think it gives a little more shape to the gable and everything else. So that's I like that one, which is your mold windows together one.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Carrie?
Am I on? Yes. I like the fourth option the best, that one. Although I don't really think the smaller mass on the right should have the big doors, because this piece is reading as the glass element and the 2 side pieces, the larger on the left and the smaller on the right, both would have the double hungs. So I kind of feel like it's too much with the right-hand mass also having the big glass, but just having that one feature wall with the 4 and 4 sort of, in my mind, makes more sense to just feature one wall.
Okay. By the way, Val,
Yeah,
those 3 sliders that Carrie's talking about, is that part of your new proposal or are they already there?
no, we were changing out 3
you were.
windows for
Okay.
doors, and I was trying to have all the doors in that area all be the same size.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So that was Carrie and now Abby. Abby, you're.
Sorry, this is a lot of fun. I like behind the green door, I like option 3. Which is that one. Yeah, I like the separated 4 windows on the top, and I love Carrie's idea of making that the central focus, that main mass, and then having the one to the right be subordinate and sort of mimic the other far left. Sort of make that more just, what you have on the left, just reiterate that on the right, and that will give it some.
Door in the middle, windows, double hung windows flanking the door.
Yeah, I mean, something like that might give it some balance. Right now, it's sort of a hodgepodge. And I think it needs something to, clinch it. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, Val, it sounds like as close.
Revisions, yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds like if you did the door plus 2 double hung windows, that you're probably going to be better off with your option 3 with the door plus 2 windows where you're showing 3 sliders right now.
Okay, I'll just hold for revisions because maybe we'll just leave what's there. So let me see.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, can somebody give me a motion to hold for
That'd
revision?
be good too. I mean, I would make that motion if you wanted to do that. But-
Well, wait, I think leave what's there means leave everything the way it is, right?
No, no,
Val?
no, no,
No,
just
just
where
the
those three
design.
doors are.
Oh, okay.
To put in hold for revisions. and see-
Yeah, let's hold for revision.
Okay, that's my motion.
Or that was actually Diane's motion. So
Okay.
on that motion, Abby,
Aye.
John,
Mr. Chairman, I made one mistake going
What's
back to that house. There are 3 glass doors and neither one is designated as a front door. It's on the first floor.
the front door of this house is actually over
Is on the other
side.
side.
Yeah. But John, are you in favor of the motion to hold for revisions?
Yes.
Okay, great. Carrie on the motion.
Aye.
And Diane on your motion?
Aye.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. Motion carries. Thank you, Val. Thank you, everyone. And now we are down to 12 Straight Wharf. We have some information, and we have our board established. Abby, you're still on this, so hang in there just for a moment longer.
This is the one that was wrong. That we talked about that Abby is not on. She
Oh.
was, yeah, her name in that list is a mistake. It's
Okay.
you, Johnny, Diane, Val, and Carrie. Abby and Stephen were off. I think Abby had left or something.
Got it. Okay, so actually,
All
you're
right,
up.
we're
Abby.
up.
You're up.
There are 2 other people here that you asked to come, Ed Rude from NHA and Scott Anderson, who did the work.
Yep.
I'm just going to run down some stuff really quickly and then you can talk to them. These are pictures that we put in today, showing a little bit more of the detail on the process. And here are the doors when they were taken off because they were not stable and they were rotting because they've been flooded 500 times. So that's them. I'm gonna go down below. That's when they were still on it. That piece, that diagonal piece is odd. It wasn't part of the door. The door on the outside is a vertical board. These were panels that were put on to stabilize the doors. So
When you say that diagonal piece, what do you mean?
that red piece is not part of the outside of the door.
Are you
The whole
talking
door.
about diagonal
door.
beadboard?
Pardon me?
Not just a piece, it's the entire door is diagonal.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. That's what I'm saying. Well, I'll show you the outside of the doors below it. But the inside panel was a panel that was nailed to the vertical board that was the barn door on the outside. It was not part of the actual barn door.
You
That's
made that clear the last time we were here. So
yeah. So I don't want to hear that Diane still thinks that this is the door. It's not. The door on the outside is not that door.
I know that is the door on the outside.
I thought you just said that.
No, she
No, I
never
just said it's.
no, you were calling it a
is.
diagonal piece. It's a
Yes,
diagonal.
it's a panel that's on the outside door. Keep going down. These
Christ.
are new doors, and this is the same hardware that they took off the old barn doors and they reinstituted it after cleaning it up and securing them. They put them back on the door, so the same hardware is on there because there was a question about that. Go down a little further.
Linda, don't get mad that people are
I'm
asking
not. It's
questions.
frustrating because it's
Yeah, tell me about it.
yeah, know me. This is what the inside of the door looks like because the outside is the inside now, and there's no panel on the inside. Keep going. That is the back door. What is odd about the back door is that they, go figure, we use the same brackets. The diagonal piece, that panel, was actually put on the outside of the vertical barn doors. So it's reversed from the front, but the inside of that door, and it's in the original pictures, which Holly also has up, the inside of that door matches the outside of the old front door. They just put the panels on the outside because nobody goes down that still dock apparently.
They were.
So here's some pictures. Can I finish, please? Here's some pictures of this in 1880 with an inset, way inset door. Windows were different. Obviously, the left side is a little wonky, but there were no barn doors. So I keep going. 1926, there are no barn doors. They had changed the inset door again. There's the old theater to the right that burned down. I haven't seen that picture for a long time. 1944, hurricane blew the roof off it. There are still no barn doors.
You can't tell.
I'd never seen that door before. Yes, you would, because they'd be flush with the exterior. And here is another set of doors that were stuck on there. You see they replaced the roof. Keep going. And this is 2019 when Tom McGlynn did a bunch of pictures of it. There are the doors on there. And then there's another set of doors inside the threshold, a good 18 inches. Now, if Holly wants to put up the original set, which I resent because it was in the original application, which doesn't usually necessarily come up again. There's the outside of the doors that we took off. That diagonal red thing is stuck to the inside. And again, we reused the brackets and they replaced they redid the sign. There's the outside of one, there's the inside of the other, and you can see where it's nailed to the door. Keep going. I think there's the rear door in there also. There's the new doors without that panel being replaced. It's not necessary to stabilize the door. There they are closed with the original, with the brackets put back on. What's below? I think the rear doors are below. Yeah, there's the rear door, rear doors. It's a double door again. If you go down one more, there's the vertical board on the inside where they stuck the panel on the outside. And we've reused, again, we've used the bracing. I think there's a couple more maybe. I guess these address the doors. Now the glass doors are inside the threshold, so they're technically inside the building. We've already asked several people about that jurisdictional issue.
And they have to keep the doors closed.
The glass doors are part of the HVAC system, which is part of the thermal control of the building when they start putting artifacts back in there. Now that's why they went to MAHC, because they wanted to know if that was going to be acceptable to them for a museum purpose. Now there's a couple of points I just want to throw at you for a second. And there was some comment about precedent at the last meeting. This is a 501c3 museum and educational nonprofit. Not anything on Main Street is that way. They don't have artifacts. They don't have things that have to be thermally controlled. So saying that what happens if the hub wants it, they can't have it. That's not handicap accessible either at that point. But the hub is not going to have artifacts in it. It is not a museum and it's not a 501c3. So I'm just throwing that out there. This thing didn't always have barn doors. It had all kinds of stuff on it as the age grew old, you know, as it got to today. The wood is going to age. You did say you'd like it if the barn doors were painted red on the inside like the originals, but they're not original to the building, but like the older doors. This would be not a bad precedent. The reason why we can't do what's done at the Candle Factory and the Jethro Coffin Museum, Jared Coffin, whatever it's called, the Coffin Museum next to it, they have double doors. They had the ability to build a second doorway. So if you remember going Candle Factory or in the building next door where the administrative offices are now, they have two doors. They have an exterior door, which the public gets into, and then there's a vacuum in between, and they have the interior doors to keep the building thermally controlled. We can't do that here because of the building. You can't just build another wall inside that building. They did err in not coming to the HDC. They're not saying that they didn't. They thought that because they had MHC approval that would supersede everything. Obviously it doesn't. The NHA knows that now. They have to come to the HDC even if they have MHC approval for the glass doors, for the museum, and for those barn door replacements. But again, the barn doors are not original to the building. A huge amount of money has been spent on this building. I know that's not within your purview, but they have rehabbed the roof, the brick, the windows, the rear, the interior, installed air conditioning so they can put artifacts in there. And they've got a lift now to the second floor so people can see it. And all the post and beam and all the things that were so unique to the interior of this building are preserved, rehabbed, and still available to see by the public. So I will leave the rest of this presentation up to Ed Rood who was in charge of all of the repairs to all the buildings for NHA, and Scott Anderson, who did the work on the building. He can speak to the actual process.
Okay, thanks, Linda. Holly, did ASAB have anything further to say about this?
I have information further.
Did you say you do?
From me, as your preservation planner.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I want to remind the commission, of course, this is the Thomas Macy Warehouse, an individually significant historic structure in our NHL, 1846. It has its own preservation restriction held by the Massachusetts Historical Commission, as well it's been documented by Historic American Building Survey. The work that was done without approval, appreciate NHA understanding that that was, they were remiss in doing that. As indicated, that this was reviewed by MHC, one for the preservation restriction, and two, to make sure that the work was not adverse on the historic resource and compliance with the Secretary of the Interior standards. I do want to let the commission know that I have personally spoken to MHC. I spoke to Mr. Paul Holst, who is an architectural historian, who obviously has been involved with the work that was provided to them to review for this, for the work on Thomas Macy Warehouse. The application that they reviewed meets the Secretary of Interior standards, and that's what they look at first and foremost. The application is that, and they appreciate actually the conversion of the use of the structure from the retail use that we've all seen them have it as, to more of a community exhibit area. So they appreciate that. However, they do also understand where you all sit as far as setting a precedent and seeing this be possibly used for other locations, regardless of what was just indicated. They are supportive of some sort of an alternative idea to make everybody be okay with this, with the glass, the fact that those, regardless of the barn doors, understand that they're not historic to the 1846 era. They've been added on at some particular point, but if you look at this photo, we do know that there were some wood interiors. Understanding they're wanting the HVAC use to comply and be able to utilize that facility for exhibits, which is currently ongoing right now, which is great. Again, greatly appreciate that. And I've actually stressed that to some folks at the NHA. You know, we obviously like the fact that it's from a town's perspective. I would be remiss to not indicate that we're thankful that they're utilizing this space for a community use.
Okay.
Germane to your discussion is the fact that at the end of the day, that MHC, talking to Mr. Paul Holst, that he would be supportive of some sort of alternative idea, a more traditional door system, similar to what you see here. That he understands that this is a prominent location within the historic district. So I wanted to let you all know that. I don't want to have obviously NHA to be a ping pong, if you will, between the state and the town, but at the same time, your concerns that you previously brought up, as well as HSAB and staffs, are concerns that should be looked at. So those are my comments. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks. So Scott, Ed, do you guys want to say anything, or do you want to field questions from the board? I'm trying to figure out what the right, is there anything you want to say?
I think Ed had something to say that was an addition.
Yeah, well, thank you all, one. And two, I just wanted to, yes.
Yes.
And so two, I just wanted to reiterate that the NHA regrets the belated application that we are coming to you for. And we definitely apologize for any inconvenience, throwing anybody's schedule out the window, So we want to make sure we're rectified. I mean, obviously, we have gone through a major shift in command structure at the museum. And so now it's really, you'll be seeing a lot more of me. And I have to get this down correctly. But, you know, I've been in good hands. Scott Anderson came in, and for pro bono, we have worked feverishly, not just the doors, but how to hide the fire suppression, how to make the elevator work so it's not going into the fabric of the building. When we got to the glass doors, we're having a little trouble with the punky wood at the front of the door because of the vestibule, the old vestibule that was there, that was hit by weather. I mean, it was always in weather. So we thought and thought long and hard, and with the glass, the way it is, the way we came up with the glass, we thought, well, this is going to be preservation. Tom McGrath, also, who was head of the United States Preservation Board, was talking about this too before he died, because he started with me on this project of assessing the building and what to do. And then Scott came in. Tom died, and luckily we had Scott there. So with speaking also to the sort of slanted board on the doors, what we found was that the slant on the doors was holding water. And so all the slant boards were all rotted out, and they were rotting from inside out the exterior doors. That's why we were going with just straight vertical doors, so that the watershed goes straight down. We made effort to clean all the hardware up. We did have to put ADA door handles on, and obviously a lock, because we do have artifacts in there now. Next year, we're looking at doing a major art installation in the building. And then in 2023, we're looking at doing a major history of preservation on Nantucket. That will probably include in you guys. So the security aspect of that is partial to it. But really, with artifacts going in the building and that being such a loose building, that we wanted to make sure we could have some sort of positive air pressure in the building for the HVAC. But again, I mean, my main thing is to apologize to you all for dropping the ball and not getting to you and getting an application in. So you're riding on the bus right along with us and have your input into the whole building process, which I can tell you will definitely rectify that as of right now.
Right. Thank you, Ed. Scott, you have anything to add at this time?
Ray, yes, Scott Anderson here. I was the contractor there, and as Ed said, we had other gentlemen on the project as well, several architects and stuff that we used for their comments and stuff as far as historic preservation, so on and so forth. I also talked to another gentleman down at the Metropolitan Museum of Art and about the situation. Not that that has much to do with this situation, but it was never our intent to make those doors part of the historic fabric of the building. Basically what they are is a thermal barrier for the HVAC, and as Ed said before, part of the energy code and also part of the collection code, which we would need to store certain exhibits in there. We didn't mean it to be part of the historic fabric. I guess our intent was to make it an invisible gateway to get into this beautiful historic building that you would never, that we didn't want to fabricate something there that would be from the 40s or 50s. And there was probably never anything there when this building first was built. There was probably a couple chains across it because they were just loading barrels of whale oil in there on all 2 floors. So that was never our intent. It was basically to make this as much of a fishbowl as we could possibly make it, so that people could see the interior of the building. And that was the intent of those doors, both on the back side and the front side. And not only that, that's one fold, and the second fold was to obviously get the energy codes taken care of and the collection requirements resolved, so that we could use it as a museum. And that was the intent behind the whole thing. And speaking of the doors, we looked and looked as you did on all these pictures, and this was the best thing that we came up with. I know there was talk about the doors, the material, I guess the slanted boards, as Linda would say, but that was just an intent to save the doors that were basically put there. I don't know when, but it was a poor attempt at saving them. They were 1x6 tongue and groove B board on one side and V groove on the other side, which I don't believe was part of the deal back then. I don't think that stuff was available until the 50s, and they were haphazardly just screwed on there with sheetrock screws, which I know that didn't come apart until the 50s. And again, like Ed said, it's probably my fault that we didn't get those drawings of the new doors that we did design there to you guys. We did do, the MHC, we got those. We did full scale mock-ups of those doors and sent them off pictures. We also talked about the wood. You'll see on the old doors that they were built out of what I saw was sugar pine, which is also ponderosa pine, which was not an indigenous species to New England. That's stuff from the Great Northwest, which I'm sure they didn't send someone out there to pick it up and bring it back in the 1800s. It was our intent to use something that was indigenous to New England, and would realistically be part of the interior of the building, which all the heavy framing is all either hemlock or fir #2 pine, which is all knotty. The floorboards, if you guys go in there, you'll see it's hemlock and all knotty pine. So we wanted to bring that element from the inside to the outside. And that was the intent of that door and that material we used. Obviously, we made them as AAB accessible as possible, ADA accessible as possible to meet all those codes. We did painstakingly go in, and every hole we bored and every piece of material framing cut was documented prior to doing that and sent off to the Mass Historical Commission for their approval before we even started, as well as these doors on the exterior and as well as the glass doors. I know we use glass doors in the Whaling Museum because I've done a couple other exhibitions areas in there that we use, so it doesn't appear. So it is a fishbowl, and we don't try to make it any part of the historic fabric of either building. And I know that they do that throughout the country.
And can I just put in too that we did have an architect who visualized almost like a Boston sort of representation of what maybe a building would be presented in Boston, something like that, with a front desk in the middle, swooping staircases, a lot of bits and pieces in the building, and we totally turned that down because we wanted to keep the building all the bare bones. You can see all the bare bones in the building. So with us running around thinking about lighting, which we had a great deal of going back and forth and trying out lighting, we wanted to try to keep the lighting as minimal as possible and have as much daylight be able to light up the building itself. So that's another reason why going with the glass and having it open in a fishbowl effect. Because everything you can count on, your hands, how many holes were actually put into the beams to hold the lighting, the fire suppression. We hid all of that. And I think we thought it out pretty well for the interior.
Okay, thank you both very much. I'm going to turn it over to the board now. Carrie, would you like to begin?
Sure.
Great, thank you.
It seems to me that these doors, any of the doors, have always been about the function of the building, whether there were no doors when it was an oil barrel building, or the doors that we all are familiar with. They were all to do with the function. Even the horizontal slatted beadboard that was put on, it was to retain the doors as best as possible and not have to replace them. So for me, the glass doors are completely appropriate because they speak museum. They help preserve the building. They help preserve the collection. Now, I thought about it when I was looking at it. It could have been internalized, pushed in with glass walls, and then the glass part could be further into the building. That gives an opportunity for someone to actually walk in without having to go in, which is kind of a nice idea for a museum, but this is done, and I don't think it's a really horrible solution for this. I think it's a good solution. I'm sort of more concerned about the wooden doors because I think they glare in a way that is not what everybody is familiar with, and they're not subtle. They're glaring, and the pine, yeah, it's all over the place, but it sort of reads cheap to me. And I would think that a better quality look rather than the knotty pine would be appropriate. And if it can be painted to match the old red, maybe a milk paint, or weather it. Somebody had suggested weathering it. I don't know if a false weathering process would give us a true color, or if they just need to be left alone to get that authentic weathered look. But that's how I feel. I think function is a huge part of design, and nobody else is going to get a door like this. Maybe another museum on Nantucket, but I don't see anyone else getting it. So that's those are my comments. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Carrie. Val?
I think that the solution to weather the door or paint the doors is fine. I really am not that concerned about actually the exterior doors. It's the glass. I can't wrap my brain around this. I feel like we've been told it's for HVAC and all that, but there are plenty of houses that have wooden French doors that are divided, like the doors that were there before that are HVAC compliant. So this is just such a modern skew to me. And the fact that, you know, everybody knows it was done without even asking us, if we bless this, I think it's going to happen again. And no one's even brought up a question about any sort of penalty. This is such an important building. I think the glass is wrong.
Okay, thank you, Val. Diane? Is Diane muted? Let's see.
I think Val is absolutely right. The doors should be painted, weather them, paint them, and then whitewash them, whatever. That's what should be there, not because it was a warehouse 200 years ago. You don't know what the wood was made out of 200 years ago. I think that the glass is insulting. I think there are different answers. I was sitting on this building, 2 years ago, when we gave permission for the windows to be done, the roof to be done, that stupid physically handicapped entrance, which is not at all what we approved. We went through this on CPC. I sat on it a lot of times. And that door is insulting to the people that come along. It's not, I don't see it as a function. I see it as a minus function because it looks more like the door of a supermarket rather than of a museum. Surely there is another answer, technically and historically and architecturally, than that door. I think the doors on the rear that come in the back are good. That's what was there. That's what people are used to seeing for however back to 1904 or whatever. And it fits in with what's there now. And nothing was ever done about the improper handicap ramp. Nothing. That was never supposed to have a curbstone. The granite wasn't supposed to be moved. It was supposed to be a slope up, and it was done. The DPW did it that way, and it has never been corrected. So whatever goes in there is never going to be corrected. And it hits you over the head with those doors. If you thought of being left as Naughty Pine, there was a restaurant called Naughty Pine, but not the doors to the museum. And I think the doors, whether they've spent a fortune or not spent a fortune, some of the fortune was given to them by the CPC, some of them for grants from the government. And I think it has to be redone in a more traditional way. I think that you shouldn't see through to the back in such a view. You should be looking into what's being displayed there. It doesn't show anything about what might be displayed there. If you go into a vestibule and then you get to look, then you know what is there. This is not, I don't see this as a functional thing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I have worked on it, as I say, but far back as the CPC and everything else.
Thank you, Diane. John. John's muted. John, you're muted.
Sometimes they just do it.
Can somebody unmute John? Okay, while we're unmuting John, I'm going to give you my comments. So with regard to the glass doors, we'll start with the most controversial thing first. I've been in buildings in France and in Italy and in Germany, all over Europe, Spain, Portugal, that make this building look like it was brand new, that were built in the 12th century. And they have glass doors for thermal control of the building so that the beautiful murals and things like that that are inside won't be damaged. Also, to Carrie's point about now it absolutely says I'm a museum, and that these glass doors are not trying to be of any particular age. They are just transparency so that you can see the actual building the way it would have been. So that I regard that as the most controversial part of this application. So I just want to say that. Diane, I totally agree with you on the missteps that were taken on that ramp. Couldn't agree with you more. It's heartbreaking, but I don't want to tie that up with the NHA because they didn't have anything to do with it. That was our friends at the DPW, as we know. So let's separate that one out. Now, the easier part of these exterior doors is even the old doors were of knotty pine, but to Scott's point, they were of Western pine before. The difference is that those doors that we were looking at had the benefit of having like 20 years or 30 years of sunlight on them, and they grayed out. The same thing can happen if these doors are given a muriatic bath acid or fumed or something like that. It's a very easy process that will make the brand new, really nasty looking wood older and grayer the way it's supposed to look. So those are easy remedies for that. And I would not paint these doors, at least the way they are right now, because those knots will bleed right through and it'll look like hell in about 2 years or 1 year. So those are my comments. John, do we have you available yet?
Mr. Chair, I've been trying to unmute
Yeah,
him.
no, he's there and he's muted. Well, listen, this is not going to a vote today.
We have an alternate, Mr. Chairman, that can actually weigh in. Is there an alternate on this one?
I'll call him on the telephone and see if I can get him.
He usually won't answer when he's on it. I've tried that before.
Yeah, and we have down that Stephen, quote, took a break. I don't know what that means. Stephen, are you on?
He had stepped away from the desk at the, or from,
Okay,
yeah,
so
the
he's
table
not-
at the last hearing.
he's
He
So,
not
said he was
present.
standing in the door, but that was his
yeah,
comment.
that kind of technically doesn't cut it.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna give John a couple more seconds, but we're seriously running out of time on this application. And I think that, look, the comments are all leading to one thing, which is basically revisions of some kind. And I know that I'm addressing this to
The number you dialed is not a working number.
no, okay. Ed and Scott, you're getting somewhat of a mixed message. I apologize. It's sort of like why I wanted John to be on. Hopefully we can clear that little thing up for you by next time. But at least we've given you some guidance, hopefully, about which way this should proceed.
Can we come back sooner than 6 weeks from now? Can we come back
Yes,
next week or?
I'd really like to. Okay, so no John, right?
I don't know what happened to him.
I can't get, his phone is out.
Yeah.
Okay. This is sad.
Ray,
Yes,
can I just say one last thing?
you may, certainly.
The photos that you're seeing, and I agree with everybody, the blonde wood really stands out. But if you go down today, I'll go and take photos of the doors and they are already graying out.
Don't take any time.
They're almost the same color as the brickwork around them.
Okay.
The gray.
That would be super helpful for, because seriously, if you just left them up for a year that way, they're going to be gray and nobody's going to be complaining about those. I think the larger issue for you is what to do about the glass. And unfortunately, I think that you have two people that are in favor of the glass and you have two that are not in favor of the glass. So you kind of have to.
We'll figure it out. But can we come back next week?
Yeah. So Kadeem, can we put this on for next week just so that we don't lose any momentum on this?
Absolutely. And is that right at the top of the agenda, Ray?
I would do it, yeah, because
all right, sounds good.
I feel bad that we lost John because this with a four-person board on this, there's no closure.
Well, Steve can read back in because he was standing in the door and he's only missed that first meeting.
Yes. All right. So hopefully you heard that, Stephen. Can I have a motion to hold this until next week?
Motion to hold.
Thank you. Thank you, Val. On that motion, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, Carrie.
Aye.
Val, on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk later. Bye. Well, guys, let's see. It's 2:25. Do we want to attempt 43 Squam Road? Mark, are you on?
Doug is here, actually.
Oh, Doug. Tell me, rate this 1 to 10. How controversial are we?
I think it should be on consent myself.
Okay, so let's go with it. I trust you, Doug. Don't let me down, man.
Oh, I might have blown it.
I just want to knock something off of this agenda. Okay.
Okay, if I could just, I forget, I can't circle it because you're not looking at my screen.
Hey, Doug, sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
We're having technical difficulties with John at the moment. So you're gonna have Diane, who's with us, Val, myself, obviously. Abby is gone. So Carrie, Stephen, can you sit on this?
Yep.
Okay, Stephen, are you there?
No.
All right, great. So let's move forward. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is a gym building that was approved a couple of months ago. And the image that you're looking at right now is a rendering that we've done.
Yeah,
so
very nice.
The center part is what was approved before. The part to the right, the connector and the other gable is what we're adding.
Oh, So where you have those multi-doors plus the gable on the right-hand side, that's the addition.
Correct.
And we just saw it from the other side, okay?
Right, you saw it from the court.
And it looks to me, Doug, like this piece is closer or further away from Squam Road than the piece that we've already approved. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Right. Okay. So it's basically, as you guys can see, it's closer to the water than it is to Squam Road with respect to the building that's already approved. Okay. Did anybody want to start on this one?
I'll go.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering if the street side of the connector can have less glass. Which side is it? Is it that's
Street side is west.
south?
No, the street side is south.
South, yeah.
It's labeled south on here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think because it is relatively close to the road and there's already a ton of glass that connector would be better served with less glass, at least just on the south elevation.
Okay. That sounds good. That's your one comment?
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Diane? You there, Diane? You're muted, dear.
I've undone it. I wish.
No, you good. No, you got it now. You're good.
I know. I wish we could do something with them so they stop muting us without us knowing it. Anyway, I think that the building is very nice and it keeps a low one and it's got multi-side heights. Very good. I think that Carrie's right to reduce the number of windows in that little transition place. Either have it a 2/2 and doing the 2/2 the shape of those doors, not the square A, which is really bad, but just those and not have the complete full window. But I think the house is nice and will fit in there very well.
Very good. Thank you, Diane. Let's see, Val.
I agree with what's been said.
Okay. Stephen?
I concur.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds like all you need to do, Doug, to get an approval is on the south elevation, you want to go from 4 windows, those 4 sliders to, what are we suggesting, doing a single one of the 1 doors or what?
How about if I do hinged, like 2 hinge doors?
2 hinge doors that are the size of the doors that are there now rather than the 4?
Correct.
I'm okay with that. That basically is half the amount of glass.
Yeah,
That sounds good to everyone?
Yep.
All right, then can somebody make that motion?
Can we do it through staff
Yeah, sure, through staff.
to reduce the 4 windows to 2 hinged ones
They're actually doors, but yeah, so 2 hinge doors.
on the south elevation
Yeah, in the connector piece.
in the connector piece?
Right, so that's Diane's motion. On that motion, Carrie.
Aye.
Great. Val,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Diane on your motion,
Aye.
and I too am in favor. Thanks a lot, Doug.
Thanks very much.
All right, so we got one item on our new business, and so it's 2:30. Dude, should we cut it?
Yes.
All right, yeah, I think so. Okay, so I think we'll just motion to adjourn and take up anything else.
So move.
Tuesday night. Okay, Diane has made a motion to adjourn. On that motion, Val.
Aye.
Thank you, Carrie.
Aye.
Thank you, Stephen.
Aye.
Val on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor.
Aye.
Diane's in favor as well. So thanks, everybody. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday night.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.